I feel like it's kind of dumb, honestly. I feel like maybe the smart thing, if I were the one running it, and maybe you guys disagree, would be to not have 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 2 of them get a spot. Because I feel like if you're the 7th seed based on standings, there's no reason why with another spot after you shouldn't be in the playoffs. Just because you lose 2 games, maybe it's an injury or whatever. Maybe, I don't know. But if the Celtics lost last night and then lost again, how do you put a team that finished 10th in the playoffs over the team that finished 7th in the same conference? You know what I mean? I feel like maybe the last spot you do a play-in tournament for 1 spot, but 2, and to penalize team number 7, I don't know. I just think
do like a little round robin, lose twice, you're out. I think that could make things a little bit more interesting, and not for. I agree. I don't. The top seeds certainly shouldn't go through that. Maybe even not even like the top 6, and then you have a few teams on either side. Just everybody fucking play everybody.
But then also, why have a play-in tournament? What's the point in playing the 72 or 82 games? Just do a tournament, and then do playoff tournament. You know, like what's the point in the 5 months that we just played for it to come down to 2 games when in previous years you're in the playoffs? You know what I mean?
Major League Baseball, same question.
Baseball is too long of a season. It needs to change. That's 60.
I mean, they still do that 1 game playoff, the wild card. So I mean, it's
I think that's stupid too. But that's neither here nor there. But I'm just not a fan of the play-in game. LeBron James is not a fan of the play-in game. I think it's the first time him and I have agreed on anything in a long time. But yeah, play-in games. Celtics punched their ticket with their win last night. They're the 7 seed. 1 team got eliminated. I don't remember who it was. And then the team that lost the 7-8 game plays the winner of the 8 or the 9-10 game. And that's how they determine who makes the play-in or the playoff from the play-in. It just feels very it feels very random to me. Like I don't know. I'm used to like 1 plays 16, 2 plays 15. You know what I mean? The highest seed plays the lowest seed, and I feel like that's a sports tradition that I'd prefer to have kept. You know?
True. Yep.
I'm just not with it. You know? It's not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it changing anytime soon, so I wouldn't worry too much.
Yeah, it's going to be around for a long time. All right, so let's move on now. We're going to get into what we came here to talk about. That is the NFL Draft, NFC East Draftermath. Basically, we're going to run down who picked who, and then we're going to give I have NFL.com, one writer, I have their grades, and we'll compare it to the grades that we give each team. I also want to make note of the best draft pick that the team had and what you think is the worst, okay? And we're just going to do this.
Good.
We're going to do this in alphabetical order by city/state name. So we're going to go Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, Washington football team. All right. So, Dallas Cowboys first round. They had picked number 12 because they traded with the Eagles because they're a bunch of dum-dums. They drafted linebacker Micah Parsons from Penn State. Cowboys, at the time, I did not know that they were going to need a linebacker. Supposedly, Sean Lee has retired. Supposedly, both Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith are probably not going to be with the Knicks at the start of Knicks. Oh my God, with the Cowboys, they're definitely not going to be with the Knicks. They're probably not going to be with the Cowboys at the start of next season, which is very unfortunate. And I have a big problem with the NFL's salary cap. But we'll talk about that at a later time because Cowboys seem to get screwed a lot recently because of it. Second pick, Kelvin Joseph, cornerback from Kentucky. Third pick was Osa Odigizua, defensive tackle from UCLA. Fourth was Chauncey Golston, defensive end from Iowa. Fifth was Nashawn Wright, the corner from Oregon. Sixth, Jabril Cox, linebacker from LSU. Seventh pick, Josh Ball, offensive tackle, Marshall. Eighth pick, Simi Fehoko, wide receiver from Stanford. Ninth was Quinton Bohanna, the DT from Kentucky. 10, Israel Mukuwamu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these names right, and I apologize if I'm not. The corner from South Carolina. And we close it out with their 11th selection in 7 rounds, Matt Forniak, guard from Nebraska. So, a lot of defense going on in this draft. They drafted 1 linebacker, 2 linebackers. They drafted 3 corners, 2 D tackles, a D end. So they went very heavy defense with their 11 picks, which I think was the smart thing to do. I mean, the Cowboys didn't have problems scoring. They had problems stopping others from scoring. A couple games, they didn't look very good on offense, but also they had Andy Dalton throwing to the wide receivers. So, I mean, I'm not going to hold that against the offense. And the offensive line was banged up, so, you know, you can give them a little bit of a pass there. But the defense was just inexcusable. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the pass. Except in like a couple of weird games, it was like they couldn't stop the run except Dalvin Cook. Like it didn't make sense. Like Antonio Gibson runs for like 130 yards. They hold Dalvin Cook to like 60. So like I don't get it. But they seem to have paid attention. Dak Prescott said he wanted them to focus on defense. And when your $400 million man says focus on defense, you focus on defense.
Right.
So, me being the Cowboys fan, I'm a little bit biased. I'm also biased because I love Micah Parsons. But he's not my best pick, in my opinion. I have to give the best pick to Jabril Cox, the linebacker from LSU. He's a monster. He's really good. Knowing what we know now, that linebacking is going to be an area of need. Maybe this season, next season, definitely. Can we rely on Leighton Vander Esch to stay healthy this season? We don't know. Keanu Neal was brought over not to play safety, but to play a safety linebacker hybrid, kind of like what Jeremy Chin does. Can we count on him to stay healthy? I don't know. Micah Parsons drafted to replace Sean Lee, but Jabril Cox, just an absolute monster on LSU's defense, underrated player, going to the Cowboys as late as he did. He is their best pick, in my opinion. And their worst pick, the Kentucky corner, Kelvin Joseph, their second-round pick. I don't think he's going to be terrible, but I don't think he's going to be as good as a few of the corners that went after him, namely Asante Samuel. I really liked Samuel a lot, and the fact that he was still on the board when they were picking like 3 times in the second round, it just blew my mind that they didn't go after him and get him, but they grabbed the 11th best corner as like the 4th drafted corner. It just really annoyed me. And looking at him, he looks pretty good, but I think Samuel's going to be better. And for that reason, he has to be my worst pick of the draft for the Cowboys.
Okay, so not much of a further breakdown than that. Do you want us to chime in, or do you want to give your grade?
If you want to chime in, go ahead. I do want to say I was very close to picking Nashawn Wright, the corner from Oregon, as the worst pick, but I figured I'd be nice to you, O'Shea.
Yeah, he was a reach. He should have gone a few rounds later than that. With the news on the linebacking front, it makes more sense. Originally, I didn't think they drafted that well. But with that news, it certainly made a lot more sense. Parsons is a monster. As you said, Jabril Cox is a steal. And I think they hit a home run with Simu Fehoko.
He's going to be transitioning to tight end most likely. So that's going from an area of need to Dalton Schultz kind of breaking out a little bit last year. We know what Blake Jarwin is. He's good enough. Dalton Schultz stepping up, and now we're going to have this rookie, Semi Fehoko, who can also play tight end, go into the backfield and be a lead. He can be a lead blocker for Zeke. He can be like a really good piece to have on an offense that needs some consistency. Yeah, I agree. I like it a lot. At first I was confused, and then I looked him up because I'm not going to lie, who the fuck is Semi Fehoko, you know? So I looked him up, watched some stuff on him, and I liked what I saw. Big body, can catch, can hit. I liked it. So that's a pretty good pick. I wouldn't say they did a great job drafting offensive linemen, because honestly, the Cowboys had a terrible offensive line last year. I think some real work needs to be done to fix the problems. I think Connor Williams is terrible. They need to just get rid of him. I think they need to move Tyron Smith to left guard, move Lyle Collins to left tackle, and then draft a right tackle. Maybe Josh Ball could be that. But they're set on center, and they're set with Zach Martin for at least a couple more years. It's just, what are you going to do with Tyron Smith, who isn't as good as he used to be, is regularly getting hurt now, and has been getting a lot more holding calls than he used to. So I think offensive line definitely need to be addressed. I don't know if they did enough to address the offensive line in the draft, but they definitely hit the nail on the biggest needs, and that were cornerback, D-tackle, D-end. So the grade that the NFL Network gave the Cowboys draft was an A. I don't understand how they came to the conclusion of an A for the Cowboys when literally they reached on 2 different corners. It just doesn't make sense. I understand not taking necessarily the best player available because you feel like someone fits the scheme better. So if instead of, Asante Samuel, you wanted to go with Elijah Molden, who I also really liked, that makes sense. But passing up on both Asante Samuel and Elijah Molden to draft Kelvin Joseph, that's so dumb. That doesn't make any sense. And then drafting, again, you could have got Molden, but they drafted Nashawn Wright. Like, what were they thinking? Like, it's terrible. You're taking a guy that should have been drafted in the 5th or 6th round and drafting him in the 3rd. It doesn't make any sense. And that's why I can't give the Cowboys an A. They got a B, in my opinion.